Welcome, guys. This is my garage, and apparently it's my studio for now to record the videos. But I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the game. Today we played away the New York Red Bulls. 0-0 was kind of surprising, really. Thought at least like 2 or 3 goals. There were so many chances for us and for New York, and for us keeping a clean sheet was mostly down to two things. Number one, Laurentowicz. He was an absolute just beast in the back. He's protecting our center backs. And number two, New York, really they weren't clinical enough in front of goals. They had certainly enough chances to put the game away. On our side, we were also very dull. Like Martinez especially was very, very slow on movement, and he wasn't in it, maybe because of the international break and so on. The main problem for us was Gressel was very static. And what happened in the first half is that our midfield kind of, over the course of time, we started seeing our two center backs, like go deeper, and our midfield get isolated and exposed a lot of areas, especially with Walks and Ambrose, our right and left backs, like shooting up all the way upfield. New York, what they did with Bradley Wrights-Phillips is that he kind of moved in between our center backs, and Sasha, the creative midfielder, was very, very classy. I really like his game. He kind of played behind our center defensive mids and in front of our defensive line, and he had just so much space. In the second half, Tata Martino kind of solved the defensive problems by pushing our two left and right backs. They pushed them back. And still there was issues because both of them were not particularly good defensively. One-on-one Walks had been beat multiple times, and we kind of saw that in other games, so it's not something new. But like I said, Gressel was the issue. Usually he provides something different than Almiron. Almiron is very creative. He can cut through spaces and create passes that are that cut through the channels. But Gressel is usually more of a hard worker, and he moves around all the pitch, and he just wasn't there. A lot of passes were just very, very sloppy. That was another thing with Tata Martino. I thought that was the first change that should have happened. You know, even if Martinez wasn't so sharp, I thought we could have kept him and then taken Gressel out and put Kratz in. I get what he was trying to do. We're starting again in the second half. We're starting to kind of have those gaps behind our center defensive mids or our center mids and our defensive line. But in my mind, I would have been like, okay, we could change our midfielder out and still create a chance to win, because this kind of was our opportunity to leapfrog New York City, who lost, and get into a second seed. But we still tied, even though they lost, and now we're fourth behind who? Behind Chicago. Yeah, Chicago are the other ones that leapfrogged us. Toronto's our next game, and this one's going to be very difficult. We got to solve those problems. We got to solve those problems behind the right and left back. We got to figure out what we're going to do in the center, because Giovinco and Josie Altidore are quite a bit ahead of the rest of the strike force in MLS, and they're very good. Obviously, they're number one in the Eastern Conference for a reason, and by a large margin from second place. So those issues are going to have to be solved. I don't know, the solution for me is not a tactical issue. It's more of a personnel issue. In terms of our left backs, hopefully one of them is going to be back, Garza or McCann, and Walks, simply for me this season. Like, I don't want to be harsh on him, but he just has not been good enough to warrant that starting position at the right back. I feel like we should have somebody else. We have Mears, who's a little bit older, but his play is way more dynamic. He might not be able to give us 90 minutes, but I don't know how we're going to solve that except by attacking more, which we usually do, and we can score more goals These defensive frailties maybe are something to kind of look for next season, where we're going to have a very, very high quality right back who's going to come in there and start, and then maybe have Walks stay as a sub, and kind of build him into the team. But I don't see him as our first choice right back. In terms of defensive and offensive qualities, is simply not on par with the rest of the team. But yeah, that's all I have to say really for the next game. I kind of want to talk a little bit about the international break. It's been a few days since it ended, but for me it's pretty exciting. A lot of teams that I was following had breakthroughs. Um, I have to talk about the U.S. not making it. I know everybody's talking about, maybe sick of it. Um, I'm not a follower of the U.S. national team. I kind of like see here and there, and it was caught me by surprise that the U.S. didn't make it. See a lot of the commentary on why, and whether it's the coach or whether it's the players that didn't want it enough. And I'm not sure. Like I didn't follow enough. Maybe if you guys that are watching can kind of comment on that and kind of let me know what's going on. Maybe it's a good time, since the U.S. is bidding for the World Cup in 2026, to start building a youth academy where we're going to bring out a lot of good young players for the next two World Cups. So we have like a very good, strong team, kind of like what Germany did in 2014, and still to this day, where they put a 16, I think it was a 16-year plan, where they would build up the team from the youth all the way up, and something even like what Belgium has done with their current like very strong squad, that they revamped their youth system. I know it's different for the U.S. Not a lot of people go into soccer. There's so many different national sports, football and baseball. But maybe that's something to think about, Lena. Like, what if we start making soccer more appealing, not just for suburban, or more affluent people? Maybe you should think about making this sport more appealing for everybody else. If you look at the rest of the world, a lot of the great players come from, very difficult circumstances. A lot of the best players that we see now are, if you look at their past, they've had very hard circumstances. So we could find potentially very good players in areas that are not typically served with good soccer programs. This is something to think about. Maybe you guys can give me your comments or whatever, and maybe tell me what happened to the U.S. national team. I'd like to know what you think. Don't want to kind of gloss over that or anything, but for me, the two teams I was really following is my team, Egypt, and I don't know if you've heard of it. It's maybe not a huge deal for most people, but for me, it was a huge deal for Egypt to finally qualify. First time in 28 years. It was ridiculous. Like, so the last time they qualified was 1990 in World Cup in Italy. I think I was like 4 years old or something like that at that time. And it's all up to this guy right here, Mohamed Salah. Or if you know him by Mo Salah, and he plays for Liverpool FC with Coutinho, Firmino. He plays with a lot of good players. And he's just been absolutely amazing for Egypt. Kind of been following him for a long time. He's one of those players that you kind of, when you watch him progress, you can tell that he's going to be something big. And man, he's been absolutely amazing for Egypt. Just can't say enough. I'm so happy I'm going to see him in Russia in 2018. It's going to be amazing. The other team I was been watching was Argentina. It's my team. I love watching Argentina. Mostly because of Messi. I know, like, a lot when I was growing up, I was watching Argentina with Batistuta, Crespo, Zanetti. They have amazing players. But just recently, I just love watching Messi play, and he's the one that warranted this team to make it to the World Cup qualifiers. If if you watch the game against Ecuador, it was all him. It was a one-man show, and the other players around him were just I don't want to say it, but like he really like go down the street and like pick 10 other people, and they would have done the same thing. So back to the MLS, we're playing Toronto on Sunday at 4 p.m. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna have the camera. I'll try to catch everything and catch all the excitement. It's gonna be a very good game to have as a final season game. So yeah, just wait for it. And if you have any comments, any suggestions, anything you'd like me to add, or any questions you have, just write down in the comments below and just let me know. So until Sunday, I'll see you then. Take care.